The first thing I thought was legendary Christoph Gans. When did he become? When did he become legendary? Uh,
Hello and welcome to the Screenplay Podcast, a show all about video games and movies. Today is a special side quest episode where we ditch our usual tradition of pitching games into films and films into games and instead talk about some new news in the industry. Today, Rubel and I are without Nick, that lazy bum, but we won't let that dampen our spirits. Instead, we're going to let Return to Silent Hill dampen our spirits, or at least mine. I have no idea what Rubel made of it. So I actually want to kick straight off Rubes without any preamble. Just ever so briefly, I'm dying to know, what did you make of that trailer that dropped today?
yeah, so I saw the trailer. The first thing I thought was legendary Christoph Gans. When did he become? When did he become legendary? Because I looked into the director, and he takes his time between movies. Like there's gaps. Like he did Crying Freeman. 6 years later, Brother of the Wolf. 5 years later, Silent Hill 1. 8 years later, some Beauty and the Beast movie.
He doesn't get
And
much
then 11
work. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 years later, he's made this. So I'd like to know what made him legendary. But yeah, I saw the trailer. I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant with this film. Like looking at it, it just felt like super action heavy. It had loads of like really fast, quick editing, which is like very 90s, early 2000s kind of thing.
Yeah.
The CGI looked a bit like a PlayStation game, especially towards the back end. Although the director
faithful to the game, you could say.
yeah. I mean, the director has said that the monsters are using prosthetics. They made them using that. So that's a good sign, I guess. And obviously they're working with Konami for this one, which should be a good thing. But yeah, initial thoughts, just looking at the trailer, I was like, this looks like, you know what those Resident Evil films became? Where they were just super action heavy with moments of gore, moments of scary stuff. When I thought I'm not super familiar with the franchise. I mean, I love horror, but I just missed Silent Hill beyond the first one. But it didn't fill me with confidence. I thought the series was more about psychological horror, and this looked like action horror.
Yeah, okay, and I'm glad that came across, because the first note I started making when I was like reviewing the trailer, thank God it's only 40 seconds, so you don't have to put yourself through too much, was it felt too cool. It was like trying to be cool. James Sunderland, the protagonist, looks, just being honest, wrong. He looks like a cool Konami kind of protagonist, leather biker jacket, sort of emo hair, sort of missing the point, and his facial expression seemed way over the top.
Yeah, I was going to say the acting seemed super over the top.
Yeah, which I couldn't understand. And then like the flames everywhere, the nurses not just being like one nurse done claustrophobically, it was loads of them running and side shot. I was like, why are they trying to make this all action and cool? Like, we'll get into it further on what the game actually represents, but to me, it's one of my all-time, so my top 3 favorite games of all time. The first being Ocarina of Time, you know that. But it's the game is just like a meditation on depression. It is like an actual nightmare. It's like it's meant to be a nightmare being played out in real time, where nothing really makes sense and no one's really adding up. And James, as a protagonist, is so consumed with grief that you will see something horrific and he'll be like, huh. And he doesn't give any sort of human reaction to what is like horrific things happening around him. He doesn't scream, he doesn't run away. Whereas this actor, Jeremy Irvin, the very first shot is him will go like, I was like, oh no. So have they missed the point? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a bit worried because they've put it into that like the dry month of January.
Yeah,
like because obviously around that time you get loads of Academy Award winning movies. Those kind of Oscar bait stuff comes out, and that's where everyone flocks to. And you usually get a few low budget horrors in January. There have been a few good ones that came out at that time, but again, they were usually low budget, like Get Out 28 years later. I think 28 years later, 28 days later. I can't remember which one it was. But it's like a dumping ground. You get stuff like Wolfman, which, I like Lee Whannell, but yeah, those films, it feels like the ones where studios don't have confidence in the movie to do well.
Yeah.
Which is worrying with this film. And like the production was in April 2023.
God,
not
really
heard much. Why is it taking this long? Like it feels like the studio has no faith in this, despite it being closely linked to Konami. So it is a bit worrying. And like I was reading about it, and the director said he took inspiration from Silent Hill PT and the playable trailer. I didn't see that.
Yeah, where was that in there?
Yeah. Because when I
Yeah,
see a Silent Hill film, like I would expect something that's shot like on Arri, maybe 16mm film with loads of grain,
yeah,
long swooping shots and stuff to kind of really get into the psychological horror side of it.
yeah.
This just looked like an action game.
Didn't
So
it? There's a shot in there that looks legit like Stranger Things. It's the one after they're holding up some cult are like holding up a lady. There's a shot of a big red vista of like, there's no ash, there's no of the sort of Silent Hill look, just a big red brooding dark sky, look very sci-fi. I just thought, this is so, you like your point, Resident Evil, what it ended up becoming, these like big cheap effects. Funny that you mentioned the January dumping ground of like films that they're not interested in, because I think one of the films that got dumped in Jan last year was called The Crow with Bill Skarsgård. And that was written by the writer of this. This is written by Christoph Gans along with, I've got his name here somewhere.
well, the other writer,
Yeah.
was it Joseph Schneider?
Yeah, there you go. That was his one film, apart from a short, was The Crow, which I think was disastrously received. Don't know if you ever saw it. Did you see it?
I did watch it. It wasn't one I was planning to watch. I was just like, it was late. I was like, I'll just watch some bullshit I can fall asleep to. Watched it and like they completely missed the point of what The Crow is about. And yeah, when I saw that writer on this one, and I think it had Sandra Vaughan who did the Vincent Cassel Beauty and the Beast. I was like, okay. And then you also got Christoph Gans writing it, who I think he wrote all his previous films before Silent Hill. But while they were right, I don't mind stuff like Ryan Freeman, Brother of the Wolf, but they're nothing to like, shout home about.
Yeah.
So the team isn't really filling me with confidence.
They also
'cause
credit,
the
they also credit
Yeah, go-
Hiroyuki Osaka as also the third screenwriter for this. When I clicked on his name, he'd written all the scenarios. He said scenario writer for the original Silent Hill, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3. So
But I think that's more like because they're using those that they have to
yeah,
give them credit. It's like the later Saw films. They give credit to Lee Wanell because he wrote the characters, but it doesn't mean he's writing the films.
yeah,
But the one cool thing I found was the actress, not Emily Anderson. I think she's playing the main female protagonist, but
yeah.
Evie Templeton.
Mm.
She played a character called Laura, who apparently she did the motion capture for in the game, which is pretty cool. I like
She
that.
did, and actually, all the people on Reddit this morning were like, "Why not just cast everyone who was in the game?" They did like the 2024, I think it was Bloober Team game was so good. I think we talked about it on an episode of a previous show that we used to do, and I was just saying how well realized it was. It did lean into a bit more action, that game. It was like very combat heavy, whereas the original wasn't, because it was so limited by the PS2 at the time. But it captured the spirit of like just a bleakness and everyone being a bit off with you and you being a bit off with them and nothing making any sense. Like being able to have a normal conversation with somebody in a room when there's loads of monsters around all everywhere, and people like almost not addressing that monsters are there. And you kind of slowly realize it was the first time, I think, in Silent Hill lore they established that everyone's there for a different reason. I don't think the original film, the Christoph Gans film, or the original game had that, did it? It was like demons were unleashed by a lesser.
I think it was a cult trying to give birth to a god or something. Wasn't the second film based on Crime and Punishment, the book?
The second film, the
Second game. Sorry, I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere at some point. Fyodor Dostoevsky, whatever, I'm going to butcher his name. Crime and Punishment, the book.
Yeah, they said that. They said they've definitely said that. They've said the feel of it was inspired by Dante's Inferno, which I've never seen, but it's about a guy with PTSD after the war, and he keeps thinking he's in like a strapped into. Have you ever seen that film? The famous scene of him being pushed down a medical thing, and everyone's.
I've seen the scene.
Yeah, experimented on. So they had that. Yeah, there was a couple of influences and a lot of BDSM. They said like for the creature designs, there was a lot of like gothic. They're inspired by some like dark poet, a bit like Edgar Allan Poe. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, heavily inspired by like weird, like contorted bodies and sort of sexual imagery that's kind of violent.
I do find it interesting how, because I never played Silent Hill 2. It came out at a time when I went to uni, and in that big period, I was just playing fucking Pro Evo and Football Manager. But so it's a game I would have played, but I do always find it interesting how they the first game, and then like they had that and it finished on like a bit of a cliffhanger, and then they kind of moved completely to a different story in the second one, and then they came back to the first one in the third game.
Yeah.
And then in the movies as well, like you had Silent Hill 1 and then you had Silent Hill Revelations,
3.
which is based on 3. So they're focusing on that storyline. I wonder what's about this storyline that they didn't feel like they could explore.
I read somewhere that they said Christoph Gans wanted to make Silent Hill 2 first, is his favorite of the three. And then somebody said, you can't establish the town. It doesn't establish the town very well because the first game does that. And it establishes that why it's, like falling ash or falling whatever that is meant to be, fog, etc. Like they've changed it in different iterations of what that is, and what happened in the town. So I think he had to begrudgingly make one. Which actually, let's maybe do a little detour into that first film, 2006's Christoph Gans one. What did you think? Did you enjoy it at the time?
So I've seen it twice, and I'll be honest with you, man, I don't remember it. Like, I remember not hating it, thinking, "Oh, this is all right." I was a bit confused why Harry wasn't the main character, because obviously in the game, Harry, you control Harry, but
Yeah.
like upon reading about it, apparently they thought he was a bit of a pussy. So they created this female character who you follow around. He's played by Radha Mitchell, I think. Harry's played by Sean Bean. But yeah, so I saw the first movie. Like, I don't know, like it was fine. It didn't really do much. Like, it wasn't super creepy. Like when I played Silent Hill 1, the game, I think it's one of the scariest games I've ever played.
Yeah.
So when the movie came out and they had the same music, that little instrumental, which I'd love to play a clip of, but I don't want to get stung by copyright.
Yeah.
But it's a great track. And it feels so eerie. And like I was saying, if they did something like on 16mm, grainy footage, like all like analog, but now it just looked like a run of the mill, early 2000s horror movie, and it didn't really do anything for me.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah, it was fine.
I'm so
I didn't
surprised.
hate it.
I thought it was wonderful. I mean, just for I must have seen it about 5 times and got it on DVD. I remember pirating it. It was back in those days on my iPod video, going on a holiday, and it was some like dodgy filmed in the back of a cinema kind of thing. And I just remember hearing the crowd. It must have been an American crowd, like gasping when the police officer is burnt alive towards the end. And I just remember that, and I remember thinking like, "Oh, this film is like intense." But I was I was a couple of years obviously younger than you, so maybe it hit me at that peak thing where I was so into the design and the characters and stuff. I did think the story was kind of lame and a bit, I don't know, that big heavy bit where it gives you the exposition of what happened in the town for like 15 minutes. It's like that girl Alessa narrates what happened to her.
Yeah, and like that, and that's a problem. Like Silent Hill for me, the town is something you're supposed to discover. And then like when they change the main character from Harry to this woman, I don't like when directors, unless it's some kind of, it's Tarantino, right? Like he or Kubrick, they do what's right for them. But like this guy, and I know he's legendary now, but at the time, this director, like I'd never heard of him. So like, why he's going around changing the main character? What's that about? Like I was quite excited because it was written by Roger Avery, who obviously famous friend of Tarantino.
Yeah.
But
did you call him Tarantino?
Tarantino.
Listen to that VAR. That I swear you called him Trans-Tino.
Anyway. Maybe friends of Tarantino and Trans-Tino. But I was just like, what did he in the main character for? And he just kind of set off on the wrong foot for me. And yeah, like I was trying to watch it again recently. Since we started the pod, but I just couldn't find it. It's nowhere, literally nowhere to find.
Yeah, I find that bizarre. I find that bizarre.
As in, like, you can't rent it. Yeah, so I was like, well, fuck that. I found Revelations.
You can easily find that
disaster movie.
Oh, what a horrible...
Yeah, what the fuck happened there? Like, yeah, because they went into the third one, didn't they?
I was so gutted. I took a girl on a date to see that because I remember liking the original so much, and I was like, it was like Halloween time, and I was like, oh, we should go, and she like came begrudgingly with me, and I just remember thinking like, this is the worst. Like, it's actually an offensively bad film. It's not just a bad film in every technical aspect, like badly lit, badly acted, badly written, but like just horrific. And to miss the point, I think that's the biggest thing that I can say about Silent Hill, the fan base, is if anyone's like me, and I'm a huge fan, particularly the second one, I don't need faithful adaptation, but I do need you to get what it's about, because what it's about is what makes it so like legendary.
Yeah, and with Silent Hill, like you have an opportunity because it's this town, and you can make any story in there. And this is what I was saying. Like, for me, what the issue with Silent Hill, the first movie, was they tried to just recreate the first game, but they changed the main character. And like either go all out and make it a different thing set in Silent Hill, or stay faithful to the game. Don't do this in between stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And actually, I was thinking in like, we'll get into the MJ Bassett one in a minute, because I think it's briefly worth talking about. But the difference I found between the shots I've seen in this trailer versus the original, I don't know, maybe you direct shorts and horror things, but everything feels really cheap and really close. and like lots of shots, not much, like just a lot of headroom. Sorry, not a lot of headroom, tight on the head, and then maybe
There's no scale.
no
Yeah, there's
scale.
no scale to it. And it's supposed to be Silent Hill. It's supposed to be about the town. The town is the main character. Everyone that comes in, it's their story afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And here it's just like some guy comes out of a boot of a car and he's like, oh, and then he just runs around.
Yeah.
They did it, and then it feels like, you know, when a director, and this happened a lot in the late 90s, early 2000s, when it feels like when a director isn't super confident in what they're making, they just put loads of quick cuts in there, put some massive sound design. Yeah, that's scary. Put some siren in there. And it's just like, nah, man, I just strip it back. Like,
So
I know
true.
a lot of people didn't like the movie Skinamarink. If it looked like that, I would be more excited about it than what we got, which just looked like an early 2000 random horror film. Like,
Yeah.
it did nothing for me. And I'm the target audience. Like, I love horror films.
It's weird because it's the same director, a lot of the same crew, and yet looks like so much cheaper and so much more dated than 2006. I looked in like behind the scenes stills that they've been releasing and stuff. The artistry looks amazing. I know these locations and stuff from the game. The sets look spellbinding, and yet somehow it doesn't look good on screen. It looks kind of cheap, nasty. I just think
but it's a teaser. I mean, maybe like I'm willing to give it benefit of the doubt. I'll 100% watch it, and I hope it's good. But just based off the track record of the game so far, and Konami being a bit of a weird company, like, let's not forget, there was a point when they made Silent Hill PT, right? It was a collaboration between Guillermo Del Toro and Hideo Kojima, like heavyweights in Hollywood and gaming industry. You had Norman Reedus, who's like huge at the time, right? The Walking Dead guy. And then they fired Kojima, and the whole thing fell apart. Like, they were going to make Silent Hills, plural, the game.
Yeah.
And like, I'd really like to see what that would have been. Or if they made, like, if someone making an adaptation, maybe a TV series might be better for Silent Hill because of the way it's like an anthology kind of narrative. And I think there was a cancelled game where they were going to show how the town looked before it became what it became.
Okay.
Maybe that could have been the hook. But instead, it just feels like we're getting another, it'll probably be like 90 minutes horror movie released in January. Everyone forgets about it. It gets 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, commode bitches on it, and that's the end of that. And that's just what it feels like it's going to happen.
I am so disappointed in, but maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. It's if I could direct any movie in my life, it's probably this. I would have had a stab at this if I could have been helming it, because I actually think you don't need budget. You don't, like, so much of it is like unseen. So much of it is just felt. And if you want to make a good drama rather than a good horror, this would be your like breeding ground. This is so like rife with like human character drama. There's 4 main characters. They're missing one on IMDb. There's a woman called Angela, who, I don't know, you're not that familiar with the second game.
No, I've only played the first one.
Fair enough. So she has maybe some of the most amazing moments in the game. She's like thoroughly depressed, was like abused by her dad and brother. And for her, she sees Silent Hill totally different to you. She's kind of fearful of you because you're a man. And she's very jumpy and skittish, and then apologetic, and then like all over the place emotionally. And you don't really see what she's seeing until a certain.
Fucking hell, she sounds like your mum.
Someone out for my mum if she's listening. But yeah,
sorry,
you're good. And then
couldn't help it.
There's a certain point in the game where there's a great bit. I won't say anything, but there's 2 lines. James goes like, "Fuck me, it's hot as hell in here." Like, great, like, not the fuck me, he doesn't say that. He goes like, "It's hotter than hell in here." And she goes, "Oh, can you feel it? For me, it's always like this." And it just gives you another, like, you don't need to see much or feel much. You just know she's experiencing something where this isn't like a foggy, ashy town. This is like flaming for her. There's a fat guy called Eddie. He's played in this by Pierce Egan. Clicked on his name. He's been in like BBC Short Laughs a lot and like kids things. I was looking. That Hannah Emily Anderson, she's been in Jigsaw and X-Men Dark Phoenix. Jeremy Irvine.
Yeah, I remember her from Jigsaw.
Yeah, he's been in Warhorse, Mamma Mia too.
But for me, that's okay. Like, I don't mind getting a cast that's not super known, because in horror movies, it actually helps. Like, imagine you see a horror movie with fucking Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in it. Like,
I wrote this down. I wrote these actors are pretty all unknown and look fairly cheap on camera. As for the previous, as far as the previous movies are concerned, when you had like you said, Sean Bean, your man from Game of Thrones.
But I'd rather have these unknowns than Sean Bean and Jon Snow.
Sorry, I said, which actually is the best way to tackle this story. However, they don't look like particularly good actors to me, and that is the issue. So Yes, I agree. Unknowns is great. We'll get into some of the other things in a minute. My last notes on this were, I was hoping it should feel like. Did you ever see 1408, the Stephen King adaptation?
Yeah. John Cusack.
Yeah,
my main man.
Yeah, that tackles that emotion that film, I think, achieves brilliantly, of slowly just chipping away at a man and his ability to hold back grief and his sanity and all these things. He's like laughing in the face of danger to start with. He's like sarcastic, but it gets more and more claustrophobic, more and more oppressive by the point he's just on the floor broken. And that spirit kind of is, to me, what Silent Hill 2 really is. It's like it's a chore to play in so much as it's like harrowing and like takes every little bit of you out of you, like horror wise and emotionally. And yeah, I was thinking, okay, I want it to be like that. But then again, when they released that remake of the game last year, the teaser trailer came out and it was all action. It was like stabbing things and punching things and jumping over chest high walls and all this crap. And everyone was like, oh my God, talk about missing the point. And it ended up being the most amazing adaptation you could ever wish for. So maybe this could be good. Who knows? Are you going to go and see it?
Of course, I'm going to watch it. Like, it's horror, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's in the cinema or I'll watch it on Pivot or whatever, I will watch it for sure. And now that we do the podcast, we'll probably review it. But one other point I want to quickly make, I think a lot of the problems with the trailer came with the lighting. Because you just looked like, do you remember when The Descent came out?
Yeah. God,
right? And do you remember at the same time a movie came out called The Cave?
I heard of it. I don't think I ever saw it.
Right.
Oh, maybe
so
I did.
The difference between those two, like Descent used only like practical lighting or like, from a practical source. So everything was just dark in the caves. And then so the characters had like these little lights and stuff on them. And that's the only thing that was used to light the movie. Everything else was just like pitch black.
Yeah.
That's what I want Silent Hill to be. Whereas The Cave had artificial lighting. So they just, they like, you can see everything clearly in the cave.
Yeah.
And just makes it look like actually early.
That's so true, dude. I just pulled up a few shots of that, and you're right. It's like you can tell it's like day for night, or at least everything's kind of like blue rather than black. It's like a kind of light
They're
black.
using gels so you can see everyone, but it's like, where's the light come from? Where's the light source? And this movie feels like it's doing that. It's going down the cave route rather than Descent, which I don't understand. Like, horror is supposed to be everything in the darkness. Did you see a shadow move? Do you see this, that, and the other?
Yeah. And
just lean into it. Like, you don't have to like make this. Just looks like a massive like CGI cutscene from a video game.
You're so right. And the game never did that either. Yeah, the game like reveled in not showing you anything. You literally had like a couple of centimeters radius where your light would shine. There's a point in the game halfway through where kind of something traumatic happens and you exit one of the areas. It might have been the hospital, or I think it's the hospital. And you come out and like there's just no sound, like everything's gone. You can't even hear the monsters. They're not even around at this point. They're leaving you alone. It's really weird, and it's just jet black, and you're just walking around seemingly like without end. You're like, what? And it's kind of that. Yeah. That's absolutely perfect. That's fine to achieve. Yeah.
And then in the daytime you see the fog.
Yeah, the fog was so good.
Do you know that fog was accidental?
Was it because they couldn't draw distances?
Well, no, it's because kind of pretty much because. Because PlayStation had a slow draw distance, so they didn't want pop-ups. So they created this fog, and it's become synonymous with
It's the best thing they ever did.
But what's even funnier than that, there's one guy, and I wish I could remember his name. I should have done a bit more research on this, because I want to give him his flowers. But all the cinematic cutscenes for the first game was done by one dude.
I know.
All the other graphic designers were at home. We just sat there and just like
he did everything, and they look great. That one with the nurse crying blood and stuff, it still stays with me. Like, that's a wonderful.
I mean, that scene scares the shit out of me. Like, me and my brother were playing it. I think I told you this before, and then we got that scene, and then she's crying blood. She becomes one of the bad nurses, and then the game gives you back control. Like, Harry runs out of the room, shuts the door, and the game gives you control. And I looked at him. I go, "Should we go back in there?" We looked at each other like, nah, save point. Find a save point. Fucking shitting ourselves. And that game was fucking scary.
I wonder what happens if you can you go back in there, or
I don't know. I was too scared to check.
Oh, somebody in the comments, let us know. Can you go back in the room? I have a weird feeling that if you try to, it's like I can hear someone crying ... and you doesn't go in.
Probably. But I was like, nope. We went straight to the save point. I was like, no, we're not fucking.
That first game has a great scare. Doesn't that one have like you go through kind of a labyrinthian like locker room set, and then you try and open something,
and the locker opens, the cat comes out. That was the first time in my whole life I threw the control pad because I was so scared.
Really?
Like, Yeah, it's the first. Like the only other time I got close was I think in Resident Evil 1 there's a dog that jumps out of this window, and Resident Evil 2 had one bit where you walk inside. I can't remember what happens, but that one I remember playing that, and I was like, when that happened, I was playing with my brother and my mate, and we were
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, no,
Everything flying.
I remember Resident Evil 1 or something with a dog, or crashes through the window in a shop and grabs the guy. And I remember thinking like that's obviously like classic horror trope jump scare. I remember Silent Hill 3 has like, I think the Japanese just do it that little bit different, and that little bit, when it's done well, really eerie. And in 3, you go into a bathroom and you knock on the stall, and like you don't hear anyone in there. And then as you're about to leave the thing, when you hit a certain point, like towards the exit door, someone knocks on that same door you knocked in, but from the inside. And then the door slowly opens, and you're like, "Oh, do I bother to go back and like see what was in that cubicle?"
Yeah, I
It's just
think
so
Silent
weird.
Hill 1 does the same thing. Like there's a bit when you're exploring the school. Although, fun trivia, that school, the design of it is designed around the Kindergarten Cop, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Kindergarten Cop, yeah, it's based off that school. But anyway, there's a bit when you're kind of searching around, it's nighttime, you know there's some dangers lurking. You hear the 2 gunshots and someone
Is it
crying,
Arnie?
and you're like,
Get out!
probably.
Get out of Silent Hill now!
We were just like, should we investigate? Nah.
Yeah,
It's just find what to do and get the fuck out of this bit.
that's when you know a game has worked and got into your psyche, like on a subconscious level. When you're like, I know I paid for this game. I should go and experience that thrill, but I just can't face it. I'm so scared. I love that feeling when you're just like, the game actually wins over you, and you're like, no, I'm just moving forward. This is a bit of a detour back to the trailer, but this is, maybe you know a bit more about this. I mean, you've made trailers and things in the past. The text and the slates that are used in the teaser, there's a big one at the end that comes to mind where it says, "You live here now," means nothing to me as a fan of the game.
Yeah,
Means
I was going to ask you what that was because I didn't get it.
it's so like, it's just baiting people who aren't fans. I think like, you live here now. Is it trying to present Silent Hill as like the house of horrors that you're stuck in forever? Like, I know they kind of allude to that at the end of the first film. Like Ryder Mitchell's character comes home, but it's not the same home as Sean Bean. They're in the same place, but like hers is foggy and his isn't. So I know there's like, they've added this lore that you get trapped there forever, which isn't in the game. But yeah, I just thought the slate itself looked really cheap. It actually looked like something I'd make on like After Effects for, just for a hobby. Yeah, I'm just sorry. I know I'm kind of feel like I'm shitting on the trailer and everything. Maybe I just think it's such,
I hope it's good. I hope the movie's good. I hope it's like, when I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie, the trailer, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And then I watched the movie, and I was like, it's one of the better MCU entries, right?
yeah.
And I hope this is the case. I don't feel it. I don't think it will be, but no, you can only be positive, right? And hope for the best.
Maybe we should watch it together in January. Maybe that could be our Christmas present to each other. Just go and see it. Go to a nice cinema, sit down, all the snacks, and then just get so
It's gonna
disappointed.
get in 4 showings.
Yeah,
It's a random film.
yeah. I just can't believe the tone of it. I just think it's like such a home run. Like if you played the second game, and hopefully one day you will, you might be salivating at the chance. You'd be like, oh, it's like it's like me going through this like horrible time in my life, and they just happen to be monsters, but like they're not bothering me because I'm so depressed and I'm so not. It's like disassociation, I think is the medical term, and you just kind of just having to slog through, and it's a bit like self-flagellation. The whole thing is a bit of like an exercise in sort of self-pity and loathing and worthlessness. Like, it's just a miserable experience, but it's not an action experience. It really isn't. And there's a bit where there's a really famous scene. If they wanted to, actually, this is worth touching on for fans of the game. It's the final shot of the trailer where James is on his knees and Pyramid Head's there, and then he pushes his hand through the bars, and it's like, "Ooh, you live here now." That is like one of the best scares in the game, but it doesn't happen like that. It's the very first, you go to this apartment block, very first level, and you're walking around again. It's all decrepit and empty and horrible, and you just don't want to go into each room in case something's in there. And there's a point where your static on the radio, which always tells you when a monster's nearby, is going bananas. It's going like louder than it does for the rest of the game. And you're like, what is it? And then you keep following this dark hallway for like ages. And eventually you get to some bars, and you can just about make out in the distance behind the bars Pyramid Head, and he just stands there, doesn't do anything. He's like you can see his chest breathing, and he's just staring at you. And again, if you play the game, you know kind of what the metaphor of that is, because I won't even say why, it's a bit of a spoiler, but who Pyramid Head really is. and why he's behind bars and why he's looking at you. It's this like crazy moment, and then you don't see him again for ages,
Oh.
and he doesn't do anything.
Is he in the third game?
No, he's not in any. He's only in 2, I think. Until
So
these.
why is he in Silent Hill Revelations? That make sense.
And in the first one, I guess he's like there.
Is he in the first one?
Yeah, he rips a woman's skin off and throws it at the church. They're all going in. He appears a few times, but yeah, he kind of is outside. There's a girl who's like calling them all blasphemers or something like that, and he grabs her and like takes her dress off so she's naked, then rips her skin off and then like lobs it at the door.
Sounds like a nice Friday night at the Pyramid household.
Yeah, it's yeah, and then he turns up in let's quickly before we wrap up go to the 2012 Revelations. What did you make? Do you see that at the cinema or not?
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema. What an embarrassment. Yeah, I watched it. I don't know why I watched it. I thought it was gonna be good.
I thought it was gonna be good.
I think there's like, even though I hate this trailer, I think the film's gonna be good. I hope it will. And same with Silent Hill. Like, the first movie, like I said, I don't remember it now, but I remember enjoying it when I watched it. And I went into the second one thinking, wow, you know, the main character looks like the main character from the third game. Although I haven't played the third game, I've seen screenshots. And I was like, all right, Pyramid Head's in it. I didn't know he's not going to be in. He's only in 2, the second game.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, Pyramid Head looks cool. And I didn't know Jon Snow at the time, so I was like, all right, looks all right. What's the movie? And I was just like, what the fuck was this? But
yeah,
I didn't get it. Like, oh man,
they get Pyramid Head at the end on a merry-go-round. Do you remember? And he's like doing this thing, this motion. He's spinning the merry-go-round, and then he fights like a lightsaber duel with a woman with like blades for hands. God, that stuff is bad. It's atrocious. There is Malcolm McDowell, famously from A Clockwork Orange, amongst other movies, legendary actor, reduced to being in chains, and he's like, and then he turns into a big monster.
Budget in it.
Yeah,
budget. They only had money for one scene with him, but I didn't like that. Like, I don't understand. Like, Silent Hill, psychological horror, just make something like PT. Let someone like if that game, like if PT led to Silent Hills, I think everyone would be looking at this franchise in a very different way. But right now, it's just a bit of a joke franchise now. Although I'm hoping, like, Silent Hill 2 has brought it back in, like the remake, or the reimagining, whatever you want to call it, the HD, has kind of brought it back in the limelight. This can make or break the franchise. I mean, I hope this does well, and all the previous games get put into one collection, comes out on the Switch, and finally get to play them.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of that's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hope the first one gets remade for you, the game, so you can play.
Yeah, that is getting a remake.
Is it?
Getting a remake.
Bloober Team?
I doubt it'll be on the Bloober Team.
Oh,
I don't know if it's going to be on the Switch. Yeah, I doubt it'll be on the Switch.
You might. I might have to get you a PS5 just so you can experience some of these. You love horror. You'll absolutely judge yourself over these. These are like great horror and great games. Yeah, I hope it's all right. I just, like, if I was doing a teaser for this film, genuinely, like, for what it's worth, I would have the soundtrack, because it's not in there. I just have the iconic score, just a little hint of it, like really kind of atonal, discordant, weird music. I'd have some fog clear, and I would literally have James just walk into town, or I'd have him. There's a very famous scene where he puts a videotape in a TV. I would have him just slowly approach it and put it in and sit down and then turn the TV on trepidatiously. Just something that's not monsters. And I know that doesn't sell tickets. You want to see monsters, you want to see Pyramid Head back and everything, but you can guess he'll be in it just by
like, I know what you're talking about selling tickets, but the teaser is aiming mainly at hardcore fans. And that is a teaser. And then the main trailer, you can do give the whole plot away bullshit that they usually do. But yeah, like, you just needed a nice little teaser, and I think it would have been fine. But yeah, what we've got worries me. Like,
yeah.
But it is legendary director Christoph Gans, so
I know we should wrap up in a sec, but do you remember in the first film, lastly, when she arrives in town and the copper's with her, and you see what's the creature, the straitjacket creature, and it's like stepping like slowly towards them. So that is directly from the second game. Like, those straitjacket things, the straitjacket, the nurses, and Pyramid Head are all from the second game. I don't know why they were
in the first game as well.
A version of it is, but the way this,
I remember them being in it.
Yeah, I know exactly the creature. They're very similar, do a similar thing, and they hit you with the head. They have,
Nick Curran.
Sorry, yeah. So I think in the first game they headbutt you, in this one they spit acid at you, and then they spit acid in the movie. But even that,
Right.
if they just have, it's James coming into town, it's the first creature he sees in the game, is this thing in a straitjacket, in pain. Like, it's in pain. It's not there for him. It's not there to hurt him. But he can't help himself. It's a video game. You got to go close and try and kill it. But it's just ambling around, and I was like, that's a great teaser. Just the shadowy figure of something like unnatural, just ambling in the fog, and then just the name. How can PT just do a better, like the last 30-second teaser trailer at the end of PT with Norman Reedus? How can that be more teasing than any of this?
Well, mate, like look at Silent Hill, right? The trailers. Like I remember the first game had a brilliant trailer, right? Like that's why I was so excited about playing it. Then you had the recently released Silent Hill F,
yeah,
the one in Japan, I think it was.
yeah,
That looks great, right?
looks great.
The trailer on that looks great. All that I've heard is more of an action game.
Is that on the
Which
Switch?
is weird.
That feels like it could be.
Nah, doubt it. But it's more action based, which is worrying. And do you remember? I can't remember the name, and I think it was called Silent Hill Ascension, the one with the flowers.
Yes, isn't that
And that
F?
no, this I think the new one's F, the Japan one.
I thought that had the
and I
flowers
think that
in
was
it.
called Ascension.
Okay.
No, Ascension I think had flowers, and that trailer was so good. And then I saw it on the mobile phone, and I was like, finally I can get to play a Silent Hill game. Then it was some bullshit choose your own adventure crap.
Yeah, that is awful. That is awful. I've seen it got absolutely panned. I don't think Ascension is the one with the flowers, by the way. I think that is F.
Is it not?
Yeah, I think that's like spores are
so
growing all over Japan. Ascension.
What's the new one?
Yeah, they've said there's another one coming out by someone, isn't it? Let's have a look.
There was one in Japan.
So there was something called The Message, which was like an online game.
No, look, the newest Silent Hill game is Silent Hill F, scheduled for release on September 25, 2025, PS5. That is the Japan one.
Yeah.
Silent Hill, the one I'm thinking of, the other one I was talking about, Ascension.
By the way, F I think is now called Townfall, and the F is huge in the word Townfall. I think. How many fucking games are there? What is going on?
Ascension might not be the flower one, but Silent Hill F is definitely the new one.
Silent Hill F is definitely the one that everyone is wanting to play, and I think it looks the best. Yeah, no, that is the flower one. It's a Japanese girl, and everything's like spores, like pink spores and stuff around her.
Hang on. Oh no, you're right. Silent Hill F. The other trailer I'm thinking of must be something different. What's the one that was on the mobile phone?
I think that was Ascension. That's the one that was a choose your own adventure, and you had to pay to vote to see what happened next.
Oh, I'm confused. I think both trailers came out. No,
they did on the same day. Yeah,
did they? That's why I was confused. Yeah,
it was.
So the flowers is the Japanese one. Is that correct? The flowers,
and that looks really good. That looks really good. And I've seen an early demo of it, and it's like it's very Japanese in the sense of you're a schoolgirl with your school friends in a town, and then your friends leave, and then you're just by yourself. And but I mean, in terms of like setting, it looks really cool. It's like that kind of is it Feudo Japan?
That's even more exciting then, because I didn't realize F was the flower one and the Japanese one. So if both of that is one game, that looks really good. But Ascension was that mobile interactive choose your adventure game, which was
issue is how are we going to get you to play these, man?
I can't. I'm not going to buy PS5 just to play Silent Hill.
I mean, I wish you would. Would you? What price would you consider, or not at any price?
It's not a price thing. I would buy it if I wanted it, but it's more like I don't have the time to sit in front of a TV, dedicate myself to playing that, and I don't buy PS5 and then the handheld portion and have a Switch too.
I do know
I don't
what you
need that
mean.
many consoles. I have two kids.
Can I say, yeah, I've got the Switch too. I've turned it on for maybe a maximum of 45 minutes, played a level of Donkey Kong, one race of Mario Kart, and I just don't feel like I want to go back to it. I don't know. Is there any good? What are you playing at the moment?
I'm trying to bash through Donkey Kong so I can play Silk Song when it comes out.
Yeah, that's soon, right? Is it October?
Yeah, but I've got a bunch of games on my watch list, like Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden. I like 2D games, so it kind of suits what
I'm starting to feel that way. When I was looking at the eShop recently for a sale, and I was like, I really want Cyberpunk on the handheld. That'd be good. And I was like, actually, do I need it? It looks like any other 3D game. And do I actually really want that on the handheld? No, probably maybe like the more cartoony. Really want Cuphead. It just won't fall in price. I really want those kind of fun pick up and play kind of 2D games. Same as you.
Cuphead's always on sale. It's always on sale.
Yeah, it's always like £11 though. I swear I've seen it before for like 3 or 4 on like the Xbox. So I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of content out there now in the world, isn't there? It's just getting round to playing it all. That's impossible. Cool. Well, thank you for your time today, Rubes, and for thank you for Christoph Gans for returning to Silent Hill.
Aye. Legendary director.
Put some respect
He's almost
on his name.
almost as legendary as Dean Israelite.
But more bold. Right, thank you for listening and joining us for the side quest edition of the Screenplay Podcast. If you'd like to get involved, you can email us at thescreenplaypodcast@gmail.com, or if that's too fuddy-duddy, follow us and comment on our socials instead. Links are in the description. As always, you can find us on Amazon, Spotify, and the Apple Podcast, or come and see our ugly mugs in real life with video on YouTube. I think this episode really would benefit from it. And with that, lads, it's a farewell from me and Rubes. Adios.